now you're supposed to put it up on the left, down on the right, and this has a hook that hooks in the back, so that you look mysterious. This is when Humphrey Bogart is saying goodbye to Ingrid, and she's getting on the plane, and he says, "We'll always have Paris." This is a replica of a Victorian touring hat. And in the early 1900s, women had huge hats. And the reason was they could hide behind their hat, and they could make eyes at their boyfriend, and their chaperone wouldn't be able to see them. I couldn't resist it, you know? I just had to have it. We were at the Big Grove Tavern at a tea for cancer. What do we call it? The Mad Hatter tea. And so we were doing this Mad Hatter tea, and we thought, oh, well, we'll make a little bit of money. But we made a sizable contribution to the American Cancer Society. And it's because not only were we generous, but the people who ran some of the stores in town donated and agreed to match the funds that we collected. And so we're on our way, and it's all building up to the Relay for Life, which is in June 8th.
A multitude of 200 people came to have fun at the Big Grove Tavern for the Mad Hatter Tea Party. It was a fundraiser for the American Cancer Society, specifically Relay for Life of Champaign County. You know, how many times do you hear of a tea party with a hat show, with a dress show? I think it was unique, and it appealed to, you know, women a lot.
I've been collecting about 15 years. My grandchildren were 6 when I started, and they're now graduating college. It didn't start out to be a collection. It started out to be something to keep my granddaughters occupied. And then I started telling people how much fun the kids had with the hats, and people started to give me hats. And then I started to find hats that I couldn't resist, and so I wound up with 500 hats. After I had 50 hats, the question is, what do you do with them? Well, most of them hang on a wall with Velcro strips, but I decided that nursing homes, where there were ladies who really remembered hats, would think it was a great thing. So I started volunteering with the Girl Scouts to do shows at nursing homes and assisted living facilities and mother-daughter banquets and all kinds of things like that. It's really interesting when you do it with the Girl Scouts, because they model the hats and they strut, you know, and do their stylish thing. And then the residents start telling the girls stories about when they wore hats. And that sort of is a kind of an oral history, passing it on down. And that's kind of fun. Every hat has a story. And it's the stories that make it so neat for other people. Yeah, there's a Chicago milliner who has a card that says, "Hats to drive a woman wild." And when young girls put on a hat, they become different people. You know, they hold their head up higher, and they say, "Well, do you have any gloves?" And of course I do. But you know, it really changes your attitude. And that's called hatitude.